Good morning. Are you not entertained? This is going to be part one. I hope you're excited and ready to hear this morning's teaching. My name is Pastor Jason Allums. You're watching the Revival Center YouTube page. We call this The Influence, and today's topic is, are you not entertained? Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so very much. I'm looking forward to jumping into this teaching right here and right now. So basically, where this is coming from, are you not entertained? This is going to be part one. It comes from this idea of entertaining the masses. Whenever you think about entertaining the masses, this refers a lot of times to a political or social strategy where those who are in government or those who are rulers of that time give the public, those that they are ruling over, superficial pleasures like free food or massive spectacles to distract them from the real world problems that they face. This is not a new concept that I'm giving you. And if you have ever read your history books, then you know exactly where I'm going. When people are full and happy and distracted, they are much likely less to question the realities of their life and question those who are in power, question those who are leading them astray and off a cliff because they are distracted with their entertainment, they're distracted with their free food, and then the rulers can take away their freedoms without them even realizing it. Obviously, this idea comes from ancient Rome. It's called bread and circus. Bread and circus. So the most famous example of this concept was coined by a Roman poet that described what the Roman emperors were doing in the city of Rome during the Empire of Rome. And basically what they were doing is they would give away free food to the poor. They would just give away free food, free bread. They would have circuses. In other words, they would host massive, thrilling events like gladiator fights in the Colosseum, chariot races in the various stadiums that they had erected, which is where the title of the teaching comes from, Are You Not Entertained? It is from a movie called Gladiator back in like 2000, I believe. It's a very old movie at this point. But there's a time whenever the gladiator who is in the Roman circus, the Roman auditorium there, is doing what gladiators did. They were fighting. Then he throws the sword up into the stadium and says, are you not entertained? Because that is what they were doing. They were giving them free food and then giving them entertainment in order to distract the masses from the problems that they were dealing with at that time. That was the goal, to keep the citizens content and divert their attention away from the various social policies that they were enacting, whether it's taxes or poverty or government corruption. In other words, look over here, be distracted, have your iPhone, have your stadium, have your video games, have the things, your movies, have your music, have your vacations. Just don't look over here of what the government is actually doing. That was the concept. Later, William Shakespeare wrote that all the world's a stage. All the world's a stage. In other words, William Shakespeare also understood what the Roman emperors understood, is that if the entertainment sells, that entertainment is how you move the needle, so to speak. Amusing ourselves to death is another way of looking at it. That no matter the corruption that is going on in your country, no matter what is happening around you in your personal life, maybe you have made some poor choices and you have fallen away from God and you're no longer living for the Lord. But as long as you have your entertainment and you're distracted from your own soul, then let's just keep going in the status quo. So the modern equivalent of this it's the same idea that applies to ancient Rome, to William Shakespeare, this idea of amusing ourselves to death. But the modern distractions would be the massive sporting events. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's say here at the church, a couple years ago we built the Family Life Center for $2 million. We are currently right now having to think about a new sanctuary, a new worship space for the purpose of discipleship and for the purpose of upgrading some infrastructure needs that we have here at the church. And I don't know what that project will be. I have no idea yet. We're just talking about it, thinking about it. But it's going to be $5 million probably. If the Family Life Center was $2 million, it's probably going to be $5 or $6 million. Now I want you to think about this. We're talking about building a church for discipleship purposes. How many people would get upset with me or with us for building a Family Life Center worth $2 million, but then clap their hands for the Alabama football team to build a stadium of $100 million, or War Eagle, Auburn Tigers to build a stadium for $100 million? Do you understand what I mean by that? We, even in the church world, are fine with our entertainment receiving hundreds of millions of dollars, but then whenever it comes to the church, we take issue with certain things. That is the divide that I really want to hone into, because we are influenced by the entertainment around us. We are influenced by our Roll Tide and War Eagle and football and baseball and basketball. And I'm not preaching against it. I partake of it as well. I help coach at a local our local football team here at Vincent as a chaplain, and just help out with the coach with keeping stats or whatever, just to being around. So I understand the value of athletics from that standpoint. My point is I don't worship it. The entertainment doesn't distract me from what God has called me to. And that's the key about entertainment, is the distraction of it. Or think about social media. The endless scrolling, the algorithms driving the content. I have people who will come and have debates with me about certain topics in the world that we live in, and they will take a certain stand on that topic that is unbiblical. It is not biblical of what they're of the stand that they're taking of a certain topic, and I know instantly where it comes from. It doesn't come from them thinking it out. It doesn't come from them weighing the pros and the cons. It doesn't come from them taking 3 or 4 years to really read and study this subject. No, they heard a YouTube guy or a podcast guy espouse their opinions about whatever the subject is, and they just adopt that opinion and make it their own. You understand, because of algorithms and because of social media and the entertainment aspect of it. Or you think about the distraction of streaming and the celebrity dramas that take place, keeping the public focused on fictional stories or the lives of the rich and famous and what this person did and who that person's dating and how that person died because they were in our favorite movies. It's all distraction. It's all entertainment. In fact, if you was to do a Google search, which I did, I'm going to pull it up for you real quick, a Google search of the most popular places that has been Googled or YouTube. So number one, when you go to Google and you see what's been searched, one of the main things that has been searched is YouTube. All right. So then you go to YouTube and you say, okay, what are the top searches? What are people, not in the church world, but just out there in the world? What are people looking for? What are they searching? And so I pulled it up. Number 2, with 11 million searches, Mr. Beast. Now, I will be honest, I don't follow Mr. Beast. I can't even tell you that I've watched a whole video of Mr. Beast. The gist of what I understand about him is that he'll give away a lot of money if you can do some sort of trick or some sort of like crazy shot or swim with a shark or something, and if you do it, then you get money or something like that. I really don't know. But it's the number 2 most searched items on YouTube. Then you have music was number 4. You have Michael Jackson, number 5. A song is number 6. Justin Bieber is number 7. WWE is number 8. Karaoke is number 9. The NBA is number 10. Minecraft is number 12. Another song was 13. You get the point. I mean, you just go all the way down, and you understand what I'm saying. The point of me bringing that up is we would prefer to entertain ourselves instead of deal with the issues of the world that is around us in a secular standpoint. As an example, the national debt. The national debt of this country, $39 trillion or whatever it is, that's going to affect all of us. But how many people are searching about the national debt? How many people are concerned about the national debt and then vote a certain way to hold these politicians accountable? I read a report where Social Security is supposed to go bankrupt in 2033, 2032, somewhere in there. How many searches are on Social Security going bankrupt? None. Give me Mr. Beast. Give me my NBA team. Give me Michael Jackson. Whatever. You understand? It's distractions. That's on a secular standpoint. But then in the Christian world, we do the same thing. We want to distract ourselves from dealing with the sins in our life. Instead of coming to an altar and repenting for our sins, just give me more entertainment. Sing my favorite song. Entertain me, preacher. You know, that type of stuff instead of dealing with what we got to deal with. Now, I'm being a little hard right now, and I'm being a little hard on purpose on the introduction of this, but you do have to understand the balance. Understand the good and the bad aspects of this particular subject. While entertainment can be genuinely enjoyable and bring people together, that's the positive side, there is a point to be made about the danger of excessive distraction, and that's the bad side. Listen, guys, there's nothing wrong with watching a football game. All right, there's nothing wrong watching a baseball game. There's nothing wrong having fun in that aspect of things. But it's the point of the excessive distraction that when that becomes our whole focus of our life, where our hobbies and our interests take a greater importance in our life than God, our family, and doing the right thing in terms of our society. When populations spend all of their time and energy on entertainment, they're going to stop paying attention to the critical issues that are happening around them with the rise of socialism in our country, as an example. Socialists, communists, doesn't believe in private property. They're going to take away private property because they believe everything is owned by the government. That's a problem. You need to put your iPhone down, quit searching Mr. Beast, and understand what we're up against in this country. Or the sins against children, you know, to be ignorant about human trafficking or ignorant about what abortion does to a small baby in a mother's womb and the consequences of gender dysphoria and the chemical castration of young children of the ages of 12 and 13. We cannot be distracted through entertainment without dealing with these very serious issues in our society, or political corruption that happens all around us all the time. You know, we can't distract ourselves from it. So the question now is, how did Jesus handle this subject? How did Jesus handle entertainment and also the gospel, the things of God, the kingdom of God? Now remember, Jesus was living in the time of the Roman world. So whenever I opened up this teaching with, "Are you not entertained?" bread and circus, Jesus was living in that time period. So there was a lot of entertainment and free bread and circuses to entertain the masses. That's where the concept comes from. So how did Jesus handle the lost world that was around him in Israel during his time? Well, go and read the Bible, look at the gospel, and this is what you'll find. Jesus showed concern for the sinners. Jesus had a heart that ached for the lost world that was around him. In fact, the Bible said that Jesus wept over the sinners of his time, but he never sought to amuse them. Listen to what I just said. He wept over the lostness that he saw. But even though he saw the value of entertainment, he saw the bread, he saw the circus, he saw what Rome was doing, he said, I am going to weep over the sinner, not amuse the sinner and try to distract the sinner from their sins. That's going to send them to hell. That's going to cause me to weep for them, not amuse them. So when you take that idea of how Jesus handled the world that was around him, and you begin to consider now the local church in 2026, how are we to handle the message of Christ, handle the entertainment culture that we're a part of, definitely a part of, and as a pastor, I cannot dismiss the fact of how powerful social media is. I'm on YouTube right now. All right? Hey, I'm on YouTube, you're on YouTube, we're watching this thing together, all right? So you cannot dismiss it. You can't put your head, under the rug and act like it doesn't exist. You have to deal with it. You got to struggle with this subject. So this is how I approach it. When considering how the local church should handle this, you have to handle it from this perspective, that the things that we have at the church to use, a camera, computer, YouTube, or a platform on Sunday mornings, Wednesday nights, we have instruments, we have people who sing, we have lights, we have a video projector. So we have these things, okay? These things doesn't mean we are entertaining you. All right, now, can these same things be used for entertainment? Yes, they can, and they are. So it comes down not to about the stuff you have in or outside of the church. It comes down to a heart issue. You see, a lot of times people will criticize the church and they say, well, because you have a video projector or an LED screen, then you are entertaining people. Or because you have an electric guitar or whatever and you play contemporary music, you're entertaining people. And I push back on that. No, sir. No, sir, I do not believe that. Because you had the entertainment aspect of things before the invention of electricity. You had the problem of entertainment before the invention of indoor plumbing, before the invention of air conditioning. You had the same issue when Jesus walked around during the Roman Empire with bread and circuses, before you had stuff. So this isn't about stuff. This is about a heart issue. And that is how you approach this subject of entertainment in our culture and in the church. There are places in rural Alabama that I could take you to right now. Okay? I could take you to places in South Alabama where there's nothing there but maybe a piano, and that's about it. And you have somebody who plays that piano, and you have somebody, a worship leader, or not a worship leader, like a song leader, who sings out the hymnals, who has a microphone, and they are engaging in entertainment and how they interact with the people, how they sing the songs, okay, and how they use their voice and all of that stuff. They're entertaining as much or more than what we would consider a large church with drums, a piano, an electric guitar, a bass guitar, lights, and a LED screen. Okay? Because it's a heart issue. It's not about style. It's not about Southern gospel or contemporary worship or Christian radio music or whatever. Those are all stylistic issues that can be entertainment, but it might not be entertainment. It's based upon the heart. Growing up in the 90s down in El Bethel, listen, we were very much in the worship wars back then, because our church was a traditional church that sung hymns. I was raised on hymns. So we had one person on the piano, we had a song leader up there, they stood there, they said turn to page 287, and that's how we did worship. But in the youth group, we had contemporary worship, shout to the Lord, oh Lord, you're beautiful, the vineyard stuff, all that all of that worship music that was coming up at that time. So there was a contrast. And so just to be honest with you, back in those days, the older congregants, okay, would basically criticize the young people of not worshiping God, but being entertained based off of the music. However, whenever I would see some Southern gospel bands come through here, down there, and they would get up there and start singing, it looked pretty entertaining to me. The way they interacted with the crowd, the jokes that they shared, the stories that they shared, it made people laugh and all that. I ain't criticizing it. I'm just saying that was pretty entertaining. It was fun to watch. Singing the songs, but to the people receiving it, they didn't feel like they were being entertained. They were just receiving, worship. But I have listened to rap music that has been, for some people, maybe not you, but for others, rap music that has been a genuine worship experience, even though it was, the genre was rap, but the lyrics and where it motivated the listener to go to in their mind and in their heart was a genuine worship moment for those individuals. Maybe not for the folks over here listening to the Southern Gospel Band. It was just style. You understand? It wasn't, nobody was trying to entertain each other necessarily, because it's a heart issue. In fact, one of the most prolific lyrics that I have ever heard about abortion came from a rap song that I heard like in 2001. It was such graphic and such detail about what abortion truly is that I used to take that CD back when I was a youth pastor, and I would give it away to young people and say, listen to this. This tells you what abortion really is. It was the most prolific song I've ever heard in terms of lyrics. Now, why am I going down this rabbit hole right here? Again, because it's about the heart. The Pharisees would criticize Jesus for going to parties. It is found in Matthew chapter 9, verse number 11. When Jesus was eating at dinner, hosted by Matthew, a tax collector, the Pharisees asked his disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" So they were criticizing Jesus for going to parties because the Pharisees thought Jesus was all about entertainment. In fact, there's another time that they said, "Why doesn't your disciples fast?" John the Baptist's disciples fast, the Pharisees fast. Why don't your people fast? It looks like all you guys do is in entertainment. So that's my point of this subject, is that it is a heart matter. You cannot look from the outside in and say, oh, that is about entertainment, that is about distraction, that's entertainment. No, you have to look at the heart, and only God can see the heart and then the fruit that follows from it. So before we get into the next teaching in the next layer of this, I'm going to pause here, but I'm going to leave you with this. This is where I'm going to pick up next Tuesday. The purpose of the local church has nothing to do with entertainment. Our purpose is not to entertain you. Our purpose is to equip you for the work of the gospel. Thank you for joining us today. Are you not entertained? So thank you guys for joining. Hey, like the video, subscribe to the channel, come back next Tuesday, and let's talk about it some more. God bless.